Hi, welcome back to the Spirit's Path. This is D, and today's tarot card of the day out of the Wildwood Tarot deck is the Ace of Bows and the Spark of Life again. And you are bookended by that card now. So this card's been coming up a lot for you, which is good because that tells me there's a lot of passion going on, in your relationships or in your work situation, or with the abundance that we had yesterday, right? I mean, we have really had a good run here the last couple of days with being fulfilled and having abundance. And, we want to keep that feeling going. All right. This, the thing that I like about this card, as it comes up is, it just generates another spark. It takes you to another level of your journey, right? Of, looking at, the passion and saying, you know what, if I apply myself and I have some passion, I can be fulfilled. I can have abundance. All right. And, this all started when we seen this, 7 days ago when you were looking within. And just like that card out of the Grand, the Tarot Grand Lux, I'm going to pull another one. All right. And let's see how that, this Ace of Bows relates to it. Okay. To get a better, more clarity. And it's a new process of being empowered. And just being empowered alone has its own passion and creativity. It's opened up that enlightenment, all right, and a challenge for a new opportunity, that's coming your way. It's just, I'm excited about it because it's just a lot of creativity, inspiration as well. You might think of, what's going on in your life and, be inspired to, write a book, right, and about your spiritual path, do different inspirational messages, right, to get out there, daily intentions, journal prompts and stuff like that. So you have that deeper awareness of what's going on. So let's see what the Tarot Grand Lux has to say to help clarify that card. And I'm picking up the Knight of Swords. Okay, now the Knight of Swords in the Wildwood Tarot is the hawk. All right, so to me this Knight of Swords is fast, quick energy. All right, you've got the eagle down there, by his sword, and the eagle's flying. So it's going to be quick, swift action. Now knights are fighters and negotiators. That's how I like to talk them. In this swords is all about air energy, right? Mental energy, communication, okay, thoughts. All right, so here you've got the passion, all right, of that new beginning, that Ace of Bows, that spark of life. And with that spark, all right, you become inspired to do something great. All right, whether that's in a relationship, whether that's to start one, or to inspire your significant other. All right, or let's look at career and say, you know what, I'm embarking on a new journey, right? If you start a new career, or if you're unemployed, you're looking at it going, you know what, I'm going to start my own business, right? It's that spark of life that just all of a sudden it's just like that light bulb going off, right? Now the Knight of Swords comes along, and he says, you know what, you need to be quick, you need to act on it, okay, before somebody else comes around and steals the idea, right? Or pounces on that opportunity, right? I've most recently seen an opportunity pop up with an organization. It popped up at noon, and by 2 o'clock it was down. They already had a candidate to fill that position, right? And it was fast, it was quick, right? And that candidate, when they seen that pop up, boom, they made that phone call, they got that job, and now it's just a matter of time, to get them through the orientation and everything. So it's that's the inspiration, that when you see something that inspires you, when you see somebody that gives you that, see something that gives you that spark, don't pass it off. If it's a relationship and you've been talking to that person, just say, hey, let's go get a nail, or hey, would you like to go to dinner or something like that. If this is a current relationship, it's like, you know what, hey, let's go out to eat tonight, right? And just got to be quick. You got to take advantage of those opportunities. you know, and just, you know, spark that romance, right? Put that passion in there, right? You know, do a little, you know, dancing or something like that, you know, to you know, bring it back to where you were when you were kids, right? To, you know, to understand that, you know, that happiness, that commitment, that joy, you know, that enlightenment, that, you know, the encouragement, the embodiment of, you know, what that relationship brings. You know, and if, you know, again, if you got that, if it's within your workplace, or you're looking for something and you see something that really, you know, grabs your attention, all right, fill out your resume, and instead of doing it online, if it's local, go up there and hand the resume to the HR person. Be inspired. Take that quick action. You know, you may not be able to talk to somebody, all right, but that resume is going to get passed on. They're going to like, where did this come from? Oh, somebody just stopped in and wanted me to give this to you. Well, they know we get to do everything online. Yeah, but you know what? He was in the area. They were in the area, and they went ahead and brought it in. You know, so follow those dreams, follow those passions, follow that inspiration that you have, you know, and in the same process, inspire others. Pass on that enlightenment, pass on that empowerment, pass on that joy and happiness, pass on that spark of life, all right, and do so quickly. So that's today's card of the day out of the Wildwood Tarot deck, the Ace of Bows and a Spark of Life, and clarified by the Knight of Swords. This is D for Spirit's Path. Thanks for joining me. Take care, God bless, and stay safe. Make sure you hit that like button for me and subscribe to the channel.